Have you ever found yourself in need to slice a piece of hose or tubing lengthwise but not have a good way to go about it? You always use a dull knife, or even with a sharp razor blade, you can still risk cutting your finger off. It's a disaster, blood everywhere, kids screaming, people crying. But we have a better way. Introducing the Binford 2100 hose slicing blocks. Simply take the hose in question, insert it into the Binford 2100, and pull it through to receive your finished product.
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Dan's Pro Shop, where everything's made up and the instructions don't matter. That's right, just like that cheesy attempt at an infomercial in the intro. But hey, why not, right? Have you guys ever found yourself in a situation where you needed to take a piece of tubing or a piece of hose and slice it lengthwise without cutting off one of your digits with a razor blade or a dull pocket knife? Well, I found a cool little way to get around that problem. And I bet you have the junk laying around in your shop that you can make this thing in no time. Let's dive in and see how to do it. Now, I know I said this is relatively simple, but you do need a rather stacked material list to do this. So let's go through it briefly. There you go. That's what you need, fellas. You know, everybody's got junk 2x laying around, holding up the Camino in the front yard, chalking the camper in the driveway. Yeah, you know, leftover concrete forms anything. I know nowadays these things are pretty much like worth financing a car, but you got a junk piece laying around, we can make this work. Now for this next step, we're going to have to rip that thing lengthwise. I'm going to use a bandsaw because I have one, you know, and if you do, you're probably going to do the same thing. But you can easily do the same thing with a sawzall, hacksaw, chainsaw, butter knife, whatever you want. We just got to rip this thing. Let's do it. All right, fellas, now that we're over at the saw, we need to take a cut at this thing lengthwise here. So, accuracy isn't exactly a big part of this little job here, so just eyeball the middle, lock down your rip fence, fire it up. Let's go ahead and take a stab at it, huh? All right, that's good enough one direction. Once we've completed our rip, let's go ahead and cut a length off. It doesn't matter, honestly, this is whatever you want. This is what we're going for, guys. You just need a chunk of 2x4, ripped in half, and then cut to a specific size. All right. Now that we got our long list of materials cut out, we're ready to go. So once you have this, we're pretty much here. We just need one more step. So whatever size hose or tubing you have in question, we just need to know the OD of this thing. So grab you a trusty measuring device here, slap it on there and see what we get. 0.50. For those of you not in the know, that's half an inch. And to our non-English speaking compadres in the rest of the world, 13 mil. Whatever. We need a hole that this will pass through. So let's take a gander over here at the drill index. Look at that. 9/16, because we need room for clearance, don't we? Now we're over here at the mill. Let's set this thing up for a twist drill, shall we? Good and tight. So once you got your machine all set up, let's take our blocks, line them up. This does not have to be perfect, I'm telling you. Clamp her down, and however you can, find center. We are going for right smack dab in the middle of this thing, okay? Right in the middle of that crack. Send her home. Bags are packed. Got the airline ticket. All you need to do is send her home, Happy. This is what we're going for. So now we have our block with our hole drilled in it. You can see why we use the 9/16 even though this is a 1/2 inch hose. This needs to be able to freely fit through this hole. If the clearance was too tight, this wouldn't work, this whole thing wouldn't work. So we're back over here at the welding bench. We got our freshly drilled blocks. Take you a razor blade, any kind, the flat blade, triangle, whatever. I just prefer these ones. What we need to do here, take this and hang it over the cut. You see? There's no right or wrong to this. Just put it halfway through that hole, then cover up your block. You see where I'm going with this? You take this whole thing, clamp it in the vise. We take our hose in question, shove it in that hole the direction that the blade's facing. Huh? Look at that. Perfectly sliced hose. The whole length. And I didn't lose a digit in the process. How awesome is that? Now you can use this for whatever you may need to. I know I may have made this a little goofy, but hey, this is a real thing that I find myself using all the time. And anything that can help me do my job a little bit safer and go home in the same condition that I got here, hey, that's worth putting some effort into, what do you think? So if you guys enjoy stuff like this, let me know. Drop a comment, we'll talk about it. Until next time.